Welcome to the ylni Farmers Market podcast. On this show, twice a month, we highlight and take a deep dive to get to know one of our 350 vendors of the number one market in the state of Indiana. Here's where we tell the stories that you won't hear anywhere else. I'm Adam Reno from Influencer.tv, and this show is powered by Solar Pros. For more information regarding your roof and a better option to save money on your electric bill, go to the description of this show and click the link for more information. And now, let's start the show. Today we're interviewing
Brandon Gump with Rowdy Rooster Artisan Meats.
So is your rooster Rowdy? How does that work exactly?
Well, okay, so that's a whole separate story. So the Rowdy Rooster, we kind of got started, and it was supposed to be this like cocktail bar. It was going to be this late night. So the rooster has a rooster. He's not the rooster that gets up early in the morning. He's the one that stays up late. He's got a bow tie. He's fancy. And anyway, years later, it morphed from being a cocktail bar concept into what it is today, which is making charcuterie and things like that.
Which we'll get into, but I wanted to ask. Okay, so it makes sense. Now, let's rewind a little bit more. Are you from Fort Wayne originally, or the Fort Wayne area?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Grew up in Huntertown. Then went to school out southwest at Homestead, and yeah, I've been in Fort Wayne most of my life, outside of some stints of traveling here and there to get different cooking jobs and things like that. But
yeah, so did you always were you cooking omelets for your family at 4 years old?
No. I was the pickiest kid. I was very, very picky. It wasn't until like 7th or 8th grade that I started getting a knack for cooking.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I was not one of those kids that stood up on a milk crate in grandma's kitchen and learned how to make tortellini. That wasn't my story.
That's what I was wondering. But there are those stories.
Yeah, there definitely are. And noble are the chefs that have those mentors in their life. But for me, my mentors mostly came from teachers that I had through high school. Different foods teachers, home ec classes, Anthus Career Center.
Okay, so that's what you did in your high school years, was that kind of thing.
Yep.
So then was the plan right out of high school then to find a good job of where you could cook?
Oh, no. I wasted $35,000 in 2 years of my life going to culinary school. I went to college.
As is tradition.
Yes,
okay. Yes. So then you're done with that, and now are you like, well, I don't even know if I want to do this? Or were you like, no, I still want to?
There's always been, so for me, I'm very much entrepreneurial is in my blood.
Okay.
Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to have my own lawn mowing company or my window washing company. It's always been embedded in me to have my own business one day. And always worked as a chef, different places like Chicago or Martha's Vineyard, Louisville, Kentucky. And then I always make my way back home to Fort Wayne. As I get older, I find more and more that I miss Fort Wayne. And so now I'm here for good. But there was always a desire to do something for myself, and it had to be food related because that's where my passions are. So,
and it's what you know.
Yeah,
right.
100%. I mean, yes, I'm passionate about this industry, but I can't imagine trying to do. I think about so many times, in my Rowdy Rooster business, I think about it often. How would I even think about doing this if I didn't know all this, food sanitation background, or if I didn't know, this butchery background. So it makes sense to do something, where you're basically finding something where your passion, what you're passionate about and what you're good at, where they align. If you can find a business in that little nook, that's where it's at. That's the sweet spot. So
I was just thinking sweet spot, and you said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's awesome. So now walk me through, because Rowdy Rooster was not born yet at this time when you're just getting back to Fort Wayne, right?
Which time?
Oh,
I traveled a bunch and always made my way back. So Rowdy Rooster.
Let me ask you this real quick. Yeah. Let me ask you then. Give me a story about one of the coolest places that you've been cooking at. You mentioned a couple, but what's something that stands out? Because now I'm curious.
Yeah. So most recently it would have been summer summer of 2016. I worked out in Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. So a little island in Cape Cod.
Yeah, I've been there one time when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
You didn't say it right.
Martha's Vineyard, making chowder.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
And because you have to pack the cat and have it, Yeah. So I went there on vacation, and the locals there, I was hanging out at the hotel, and I was like running. We were playing outside, like we were playing wiffle ball, and the kids were like, "Wow, you run like 50 miles per hour." I was like, "What are you saying?" So I know that area in Martha's Vineyard.
Yep.
All right, so tell me about that.
So let's see. I went out there in the springtime right before Memorial Day and spent a whole summer there. I worked at the Atlantic Fish and Chop House, which is a pretty famous place on the island. Very, very high volume. I mean, we're doing $75,000 or $80,000 a day in revenue.
Presidents go there.
And at that restaurant, I cooked for Michelle Obama and her daughters. So that's a pretty cool experience for me. I've always had a goal to cook for a president, and I thought I was gonna check that box that summer.
That's pretty.
But President Obama had something going on that day.
You mean like running the country or something?
Well, he was there.
Oh, okay.
He was there. He had a. I honestly, I think what it was the ladies, the first Michelle Obama and her daughters. I think it was like a woman's luncheon type of thing happening.
Gotcha.
So he probably ate it someplace else.
Right. Still pretty cool. Like when that.
So we got a little feather, but we need to check the whole box. So
when that in that situation, do you kind of like take a peek and like make sure they like the food, or like what do you do?
Well, no,
you got to be professional. You can, I guess.
Well,
right?
The Secret Service people that were in the stairwell kind of negated the ability to just peek in.
Wow.
Oh yeah. There were secret, even though it wasn't cooking for President Obama.
Still, it doesn't matter. His wife and children.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. Yeah.
So there were definitely some Secret Service in the building and things like that.
So did you hear at least if they liked it? Did they get any word back to you? I'm curious.
I'm sure.
You just assume.
I'm sure they're very presidential in their regards.
And you have faith in your skills that you made good food, right?
Right. It was that was a cool experience. Martha's Vineyard as a whole was awesome. I took like 2 months off when I got back. A, because I had some money stashed, and B, because I was tired of working. I would work from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. 7 days a week from Memorial Day until Columbus Day, which is, for us Midwesterners, Columbus Day is after Labor Day, before Halloween. And yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it was fun. I think I had 1 full day off that whole summer, and then like 2 more half days off. And that was a cool thing when you got a half day off. Like you got done working at 5 p.m., so you worked 7 to 5, and then you had the rest of the day off. That's
a full day. That's not a half day.
That's a half day.
So you know.
That's a half day. 7 to 5 was a half day because I didn't have to go to the other restaurant from 5 to 11.
Yeah, but that's
all
right. That's an interesting half day. But all right, we'll take your word for it. We'll take your word for it. So all right. So now you're back in Indiana for the last time. You're back to stay.
Yep.
Now tell me the birth story. Of Rowdy Rooster then, because when you come back, that wasn't a thing yet. No,
it wasn't. So let's see. Actually, believe it or not, Rowdy Rooster started to be born before I went to Martha's Vineyard. So the idea, the concept of the late night cocktail bar happened before 2016. So this is a while ago. And then we were working on that, and then some stuff hit the fan with my current role, and I said, skip this, I'm out, I'm going to the East Coast. So then when I came back, it started to brew again, and it's just like, hey, instead of doing cocktail bar, let's make my own charcuterie. So it was the beginning of 2020, before the other stuff hit the fan, and here it is, January, February of 2020, and I'm a chef that has a really great relationship with a pig farmer, and I called him one day. I said, hey, what do you say we do this? And that was Ben Hoffman of Hoffman Organics, and he's my business partner with the whole thing. So fast forward to 2022, August of 22, May of 22, we got our grant of inspection from the Indiana Board of Animal Health. That's our green light to go ahead and start producing stuff. And then we sold our first product in August of 22.
Wow. So now we're cooking. Now we're literally.
Yeah.
And
actually, no, there's no cooking.
Or yeah.
Not for me, anyways.
So, when was it real for you? Like, oh, okay, I'm doing this, or did you even have time because now you're off and running?
The oh crap moment was when I was by myself on a Monday afternoon, and I had a whole dead pig on a table in front of me. It's okay, let's do this. I grabbed a knife that's about yay big and started doing it.
Because you're in it to win it.
Learned a lot between then and now. Hugest thing for my business was getting in touch with a local butcher who is a godsend, Derek Utzi, my guy. And he's been a godsend for our business. So that was a huge help. Because now here's somebody that can show me, like, I thought I knew some stuff, but like this guy's showing me even more about how to break this down and how to do it efficiently. So yeah, that was my first big gulp moment, was when I had this whole animal that died because I wanted good salami.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk entrepreneurship. I want to know, if someone came to you and they weren't even going to run the same business as you at all, but they just happen to know you, they're your neighbor or something.
Yeah, sure.
And they have their business, but they're a little skittish, and they ask you, look, what advice would you give me? What would you tell them?
Oh, just blanket advice. Let's see. So it would be just work really, really hard. And that's that you would think that would be obvious, right? For many people, it's not that obvious. And if you think you're doing enough, do twice that much. I mean, I don't sleep 8 hours a day, and I also don't work 8 hours a day. And so there's very much you have to push to make your dream worth it. And like I mentioned earlier, find something that you're passionate about. Understand, more than anything, understand your why. Why am I doing this? Because if you don't have a why, then you might as well not even start, because if you don't care about this, it's not going to happen.
Right. What's the point?
Yeah.
If you don't care. Yeah, no, I love that. That makes perfect sense.
So yeah, if it one sentence would be making sure that you understand your why, for sure.
Yeah. No, I love that. Let's shift gears to the actual market. And did you always know that the ylni Farmers Market was going to be the goal? As I'm learning that the Rowdy Rooster was an idea well before it came to fruition. Mm-hmm. So was the thought like, oh, I know that if I get this going, I want to do this at the market, or did that come later?
The market is a fantastic avenue for me to get my name out there, get my product out there, have people taste our stuff, and get the word out about my new business, right? In my mind, my experience came from dealing with vendors from a chef and purveyor standpoint. So in my mind, hey, I'm just going to flip the role. I'm going to be that wholesaler. So I'm going to call all my chef friends, which I've done. And my products are served in a lot of great restaurants here in town. And so that was going to be the genesis of my sales drive, was wholesale. I'm going to go knock on every door of every restaurant in this town. And that's very much more slow going than the instant gratification that I get from coming to the farmer's market. If I go to the farmer's market, I might do X amount of dollars in sales. It's a lot harder to get that sale for a wholesale. That $350 that I make on a slow day, that's hard to get from a wholesale standpoint, asking a chef to spend that amount of money. But there's a balance. I think it's very important that each business has a myriad of different avenues or revenue streams. I think it's important not to be solely focused, because what were to happen if that restaurant closes, or if that market decides that they're downsizing, or which isn't happening with ylni, by the way. We're getting bigger, right? But I think it's important to have multiple streams of revenue, and that's where ylni came into play. So here I am trying to go through different restaurants and talking to chefs and things like that, and it's like, okay, well, let's be at the farmer's market too. My business partner, Ben Hoffman, is a avid farmer's market goer. And he does restaurants as well, but he's an avid farmer's market goer. He's there every week. And, he was kind of my sounding board for all the questions I had and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually started at the Fort Wayne Farmers Market, which is the other one. And I was there for just one season, I think. And then switched over to ylni. And you guys put on a good show, man. You do.
So let's talk about that. We always don't have vendors that come from the other market. And on this, nothing that we do at the ylni Farmers Market would ever bash another market. But so I'm not saying to do that, but just be a little bit honest about why you're not going back and why you're sticking with our market. Like what do you see that is that different?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't ever want to, talk poorly of anybody.
Yeah, of course not.
But I will speak to the great things about ylni. So the number of vendors that we have is a lot, far exceeds, and not just the other market here in town, but, the markets that are in Whitley County or Columbia City or, Huntington or whatever. I mean, we're a huge market.
It's over 400 vendors now.
That's amazing.
And of course, they're not always there at the same time. But like in the system, in the computer system, it says there's over 400.
Yeah, no, and that's awesome. And the location, I mean, if you talk about going to the farmers market, people, they go to Bar Street. At one time, both of the different farmers markets in town were on the same street. That was many years ago. And then, so it has happened ylni's gotten so big that we occupy the entire space down there. So I wanted to be where the people are,
I think that's from The Little Mermaid.
It is. Yeah. It's my wife's favorite Disney princess.
Well, now we'll make sure that she watches. Or was she going to for sure watch?
This?
Anyway. Yeah.
She'll watch.
Okay. Shout out to the missus. Okay. So, yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I love being a part of the market, and the 51% of the reason is I'm doing it literally right now, just to find out the stories. Like, I had no idea of 97% of the stuff that you're telling me, and I've known you for a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
it's been a while.
Every time I see you, we talk a little bit, so it's like I know you maybe a little bit more than the average vendor. I know quite a few of you, as I've been there now for 2 years, right? But like, there's some vendors that you connect with more than others. And so I didn't know a lot of that stuff. I mean, even talking before, like, come to find, one of my buddies, like, it's just cool. And that's Fort Wayne for you.
Oh,
as
100%.
Well,
Small
right?
town for sure.
Yeah. A little big town or big little town, whatever. So not shocked, but it's always cool to get these stories. So thank you for being here. Are you ready for the last question? Do you know what's coming?
No, I don't.
Okay. So it's always hit or miss. It's always hit or miss. Shout out to Darren, who watches every show, and he was so ready for his. So I always ask this last question, okay? And I love when people don't know. So because then we get the real, like, honest, raw, right reaction.
Sure.
You're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
So,
the suspense is killing me.
Good. So the question is that we have fairly a new mayor, and let's pretend that she has petitioned you to come up with a sign that the entire city is going to see, either from Fred Rowdy on a plane displaying it, or atop the AEP building, or whatever. We'll figure that out. But she's tasked you. She found out how wonderful you are.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Brandon, I need you to write a message for the entire, 260. Okay. Now, I will give you a hint as you're kind of thinking through this on two different ways that you can answer. You can strictly go Rowdy Rooster, like what will help. I mean, it's a lot of people that's going to see this. So you might just say, buy charcuterie. That could, right? Okay. Or this can just be for what Brandon wants to tell the city. So you can go personal and just like a personalized message that you wish everyone would see. Or it's totally fair that you can go the other route as far as, hey, for my business, I want to say.
I got it.
All right, he's already ready, folks.
So you mentioned I could go a Rowdy Rooster route, or I could go like an inspirational route. I'm going to do both. Don't let anybody treat you like lunch meat. You are charcuterie, baby. You are charcuterie. That's it. Boom.
I So I actually make a living by speaking. Okay. I don't know what to say. that is, can you repeat that? That is so good.
Yes, don't let anybody treat you like lunch meat. You are charcuterie, baby. You are charcuterie. That's it. That's it. It's inspirational. And it, don't let anybody treat you like lunch meat, man.
If you think I'm going to follow that up with anything, I'm not. So
okay.
I'm going to ask you to give your social media so we can contact you and explain that you can catch Brandon Saturday 9 to 1 at the ylni Farmers Market. Take it away. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so the ylni Farmers Market every Saturday. We're also on the Instagram and Facebook at Rowdy Rooster Artisan Meats. If you want to reach out, a good email is rowdyroostermeats@gmail.com.
Awesome. So catch us as we are now outside. Catch us at the corner of Bar and Berry, and catch Brandon. And remember that you are charcuterie.
Thank you for listening to the ylni Farmers Market podcast. Remember, the most fun way to watch is on YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you can be notified when new episodes drop. A big special thanks to our sponsors, the Solar Brothers. For more information on how you can save money on your energy bill, give them a call at 833-765-2276. Also, 260 Roofing for a free estimate on your roof. Call them at area code 260-800-3031. Remember, for more information on the ylni Farmers Market, you can always follow us on our Instagram and Facebook page at ylni Farmers Market. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.